You guys are really enlightened and bright, and I find the show
Nah.
quite interesting.
Thanks.
I have a question though. Do you feel that you could have been, or do you feel that you could have happier subsistence if you weren't this understanding, empathetic, and intelligent? Not meant as a pejorative here. Or does it help you to push past the struggles of life, knowing that this is what life hits you with, and rolling with it, the whole ignorance is bliss thing?
I don't buy ignorance is bliss. Do you?
I wouldn't bucket all those things together.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it's really nice that you think we're intelligent and empathetic, but I could imagine a world where empathy makes you happier and intelligence is a bell curve, where like being really dumb makes you unhappy, but being really smart makes you unhappy. And so your best bet is to have a 110 IQ.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be shocking. And I also wouldn't be shocked if empathy was just great as long as you could do it in the way that the Dalai Lama does it. So I would say
There's a lot of
maybe there's different, like
happy. Yeah.
I don't, you could repeat the traits, but like each trait I would treat differently, because it might be that to optimize happiness, you don't want to be super stuck in your head intellectual, but you do want to be even more empathetic. Like maybe we're too smart and not empathetic enough or something. Maybe we're too dumb and too empathetic. So yeah, what were the traits exactly?
Understanding, empathetic, and intelligent.
I think understanding is good.
I think understanding is
struggle to
a
imagine.
one-to-one line
Yeah.
with happiness.
Yep.
That is my core belief today, and I'm experimenting with it still. I don't want it to become an ideology, but the world is, like your experience is. I shouldn't say the world is. Your experience is, and the degree to which you don't understand it or operate under paradigms that are ideologically based, such that
If you have a belief that, doesn't hold true, it could harm your happiness.
Yeah. And a great book on this is Loving What Is by Byron Katie. Even just thinking Donald Trump shouldn't be president is going to make you miserable from 2016 to 2020.
Sure.
Like Donald Trump should be president because he is president.
Yeah.
That is a
And
much
guess what?
more
Now
peaceful belief.
Now the other half of America will get to make themselves unhappy because they think Joe Biden shouldn't be president.
Yes.
And he should, because he is.
So understanding is, to me, one-to-one with happiness.
I agree.
You cannot help but find peace in understanding.
I also think that the empathy, the way I understand it, is a one-to-one happiness. I don't think empathy is necessarily that when you see someone else sad, you go into hysterics. I've seen people who, I'm just so empathetic. I can't, I just can't. I struggle to exist in the world because of my empathy.
That's somebody who's sad, whose sadness gets triggered by the sadness, but none of the happiness in the world connects with them at all.
So I've seen this. This is like a fake enlightened thing. I can't even process.
Yeah.
But I think real empathy, in the sense that when you see someone upset, the sadness can come through you in a wave and then go and be gone. The Dalai Lama will, when hearing a sad story, cry, but he doesn't just watch the news and weep 24/7. He's actually a very joyful person. So the one I'm not sure about is intelligence, because I'm not convinced that the more intelligent you are, the happier you are. I'm pretty confident if we studied it, that wouldn't necessarily be the case. I don't know if it hurts you though. So I don't have a very concrete opinion on
it.
That.
I bet you there's, if we treat intelligence as performance on an IQ test, which we have data for.
Sorry, that's what I'm assuming.
Yeah. Sure. Let's just call it that for the sake of this conversation. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if intelligence was not heavily correlated. I mean, one of the things that I've seen,
I guess it was a bell curve around 115.
So our friend posted, again, this is just from an Instagram post from a friend who has a brother who has Down syndrome, but according to him, 99% of people with Down syndrome, when asked if they were happy in their lives, said yes. Now, that could just be a reported happiness, that they might just say yes to the question, but it's something like 66% of people without Down syndrome say yes. So it's tough to quantify happiness. Just it's a little less hard to quantify intelligence, but that one might be a mixed bag.
Yeah. Sorry, was the question, what do you do about it? Or was the question just, what do we think in terms of the correlations to happiness?
It's just, do you feel you could have had a happier subsistence?
No, I don't think that, to answer, I don't think that if I had a lower IQ, performed lower on an IQ test, that I would be happier.
Well, correlation isn't causation, right? So it might be that people with intelligence focus a lot on achieving in the external world because they're rewarded for schooling early, and then good grades basically translates into money to a lot of people's minds. And so what you would end up with is a lot of intelligent people getting pulled into chasing prestige, because I heard this, if you want to make an intelligent person do something, bait the hook with prestige, because they're desperate for other people to approve of them, probably because they weren't necessarily, the coolest kids in school. And so all of a sudden you're saying, oh, well, intelligence causes unhappiness. So no, maybe the pursuit of money and fame and prestige causes unhappiness, which correlates with intelligence. But maybe you can be intelligent, release the reins on that by studying Taoism, Buddhism, whatever your thing is. And maybe some of the happiest people in the world are the intelligent people who aimed at the right things. So I definitely don't wish I was dumber, but I also wouldn't be surprised if you told me that IQ doesn't correlate with happiness.
Yeah, I don't wish to be dumber. Don't even wish to be smarter because I'm under the impression that it doesn't matter. Like, I do wish to be happier. Yeah. Like, I do wish to be more enlightened.
Taller?
I do wish to be... I'd be taller. I'd be taller. I'd be taller for sure.
You want to raise your IQ? No. Lower your IQ? No. Add 2 inches of height? Yeah.
I'm under the impression that what a better IQ would get me is more money.
Well, there also might... I mean, I could imagine a world where if you get too smart, it's hard to get out of your head. Like, maybe there is a thing where at a certain level of IQ, it's hard to be present. Maybe your mind goes a mile a minute. Maybe it breeds... anxiety. Like, maybe it is causal. I just don't think I'm there. I don't have 180 IQ.
I don't have 180 IQ, and this is where IQ gets confused with early patterned behavior. But my pattern is head. You know, I'm like, I told you, like, I lose at something or an argument doesn't go well, and I stay up until I switch sides to the winning side, or I figure out why I actually was right, and I come back ready. And
you just want to be right. You're willing to flip flop or not. But you want to be right.
In that case, my mental hard work appears as intelligence, and it's not. It's just persistent, dogged, hard mental effort. So what is coming across as intelligence isn't. It's just, I'm like a workaholic in my head. And so in that case, it definitely gets in the way of happiness. But whatever my raw IQ is, I don't think gets in the way of happiness. It's the mental activity of desiring to be right that can sometimes be misconstrued for intelligence.
Sure. I'm just thinking maybe when you get to the levels of Elon Musk, it's impossible to turn it off. Maybe it is just tough to be happy when you're at that level. I don't know.
I don't think so. I could be wrong, but that's not my impression. My impression is that the mind and one's ability to step outside of the mind is not related to intelligence levels, but to fear and patterned behavior and trauma and all that kind of stuff. So, but I don't know. Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.